Hi, it's Kari Mathews of Prairie Quilting. Today we're working on my Once Upon a Month block of the month, and it's December. We're working on this wall hanging here, the second block, which is the poinsettia block. The pattern is available through my website, prairiequilting.com, and each block is sold separately, and along with that block comes an extra project. And so for this month, it's this wall hanging. Okay, for the poinsettia block, we are going to be making flying geese of a couple colors and a 16 patch. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do for this poinsettia block is we're going to make some flying geese units. So we're going to go ahead and we have 4 of these kind of maroon squares, and we're going to draw diagonal lines on them. We're going to do 4 at a time. Okay, so I marked all 4. For right now, we're going to go ahead and put 2 on. We're going to line them up in the corners, opposite corners, okay? And if you can see, that line goes all the way through, okay? It's continuous. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew on both sides of that line, okay? And we're also going to make the other size. So we have the different size square, okay, for the maroon. And then we have these lighter red squares that we're going to mark with a diagonal line as well. And I just like to do things assembly line. If I'm gonna, make flying geese, let's just make all the flying geese. So that's what we're doing here, combining a few steps from the pattern. So now we'll put those 2 off till the next step. And we're gonna go ahead and line these up in opposite corners. And we're going to turn and come back down the other side. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and trim on that line. Okay, and I'm using a rotary cutter. You can use scissors, whatever works best. Okay, and to press this, we're going to press toward those triangles for both of this, and it makes kind of a heart-shaped block. So now we're going to go ahead and take the other 2 squares that we drew the lines on, and we're going to line that up in this other corner, and the line goes perpendicular to the seam that we just sewed here, okay? So we'll line those up, and we're going to also do that. We're going to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of this line. And we'll do this with the big one too, okay? So I'm getting that seam or that line perpendicular to that seam. So we're turning the corner and coming back the other side. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and trim on that line again. All right, and we're going to go ahead and press toward those triangles again. Okay, and then now we're going to just clip off all these corners. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I love it. My mom used to make it so much fun for us and she would always get poinsettias for my sister and I too. With all of the family traditions and food and decorations and singing Christmas carols. We're from Norwegian, our background is Norwegian. And so we used to go around the Christmas tree and sing Christmas carols. And everything was Christmas Eve we'd open. Okay, so we're gonna make a strip set because the center of this block has a 16 patch. So it's this pretty gold and that light red. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and press toward that red. Open up that strip set, okay? Try not to distort it, we'll keep it nice and straight, but yet opening it up at the same time here. Okay, so I've given myself a clean cut and I've lined it, the red here up on a line, and it doesn't really matter which one. And we're gonna go ahead and cut the units we need for this block. We need 8 of these little units. Okay, so now we are gonna go ahead and connect these. So we're just connecting 2 of these in alternating colors, okay? So we have 4 rows because it's a 16 patch, and we're just connecting up those rows here. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and press all these toward the red. We're doing that so that the seams will all nest. So we're making 4 of these rows, and then we'll put those together to make our 16 patch. Okay, so I'm alternating my colors, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and nest those seams. I can feel when they're butted up against each other, okay? So just nesting all of those. And we'll do the same thing here. Okay. Okay, so we have these sections, and now we're going to go ahead and connect those 2 up as well. And I usually just wait until the end to press everything. I find it's just easier for me. Okay, so go ahead and nest these seams just like we did before. Okay, and we're just gonna go pick a direction. It doesn't really matter. All right, so there is our center. All right, so our center, it's kind of a star and a star block here. Okay, so basically we're doing a star, and we're gonna go ahead and line up our maroon squares with these little flying geese, and let's go ahead and do that. So we'll put one on each end. Okay, and then this one we're gonna go ahead and put on this side. And I am going to line it up. I'm gonna try to match the center, okay, with this line here, where the yellow and the gold meet. Now we're gonna go ahead and add the other pieces to the rows, okay? So we'll go ahead and get those squares on first. And then we're gonna go ahead and match up the center again. Okay, so I'm gonna just kind of peel that back and look and get it down here. That's pretty centered, it looks like. I like to sew with my needle down. All right, for this, we're gonna go toward the center because I like to go away from points as much as possible, okay? Just makes a better point. And these ones will go outward toward those red squares. Okay, same with the bottom too. All right, and now let's go ahead and do the same thing, only now we're gonna connect these rows up so we have some seams that we're gonna nest, okay? So right here, there's one, And got another right here. And then I'm going to try to match up the center of that again. And that is very centered. Okay, let's go ahead and sew. All right, and we're going to put this last row on. Okay, same thing. We're going to nest those seams, and then I'm going to match up this point. We're going to go toward the center of the block again to give ourselves some good points. Okay, so now we have our center star. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with these outer flying geese. Okay, so we have the blue, that's the background, and we have these large flying geese. Okay, and that will give us our star and a star block. So let's go ahead and just line them up like we did before. Okay, and this one, we're going to just go ahead, and this is a little harder to eyeball because it's further up, but you know what, just if you can kind of see it's centered there, so we want to just keep that centered if we can. So put a pin in that. Okay, and we're connecting the last blocks here. And once again, I'm gonna try to find the center, pull that back, okay. And again, we're gonna go ahead and go toward that center. Okay. Okay, and then for the top and the bottom, let's go away from the center. So those seams will nest. All right, and now we have our rows. So let's go ahead and connect the rows up now. So we have the end, the blocks, okay? And I'm feeling with my fingers, making sure they butt up against each other. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and peel back the center, and that looks pretty good. And we're going to connect the last row up now. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel back that center, and those seem to be lined up as well. All right, and we're going to go ahead and go toward the center again. All right, and there is our poinsettia block. All right, our block is finished. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you soon for another project. Take care.